Our memory protects its limited space from the information overload we subject it to every day with social networks, TV, media. Life is so frantic that our brain resists taking everything that ever got into its working memory and moving it into the long-term memory. But books are not your average useless entertainment type of data. They are written for a reason, published for a reason, and read for a damn good reason too. If you want to find out how to remember everything you read, well, nearly everything, okay, some important things, we offer you a dozen viable techniques. My name is Andrew. I am from Wisey. Let's get started. Let's talk about effective reading strategies and start from rule of 4 I's that involves emotions and activities as the stimuli for memorizing. The first I is information. You get the information from the book willingly. Next is inspiration. Our brain is at its peak activity and efficiency when we are in an elevated state of mind. So being inspired about anything at the moment of reading is a great sign that the information will be well taken. In most cases, you will source a lot of dopamine and endorphins from the reading activity itself. However, it's not always the case. Say you are a student and have to read a book that you may find somewhat boring. The best strategy will be to bring your spirits up by doing some exercises, taking a walk outside, or drinking a ginger lemonade. Implementation is the third one. Once you read some chapter or finish a book, think of the ways you can use the information in real life. Picturing these situations of how you could apply this knowledge will form the neurological connections that will linger for a while in your memory. The last I is for integration. This is the most surefire way you can make a book part of your life. To embed the principles you learn from it in your life, make them part of your daily routine or identity. If you know the book is worth the effort, get around the building a strong carcass for its memory before you start reading it. These steps may help. Remember the title and the author. Make a few guesses about what it can be about and what you would like to get out of this read. Read the foreword and the cover to get a better idea. Go through a contents page and make mental notes as to which chapters may be of the biggest interest to you. Now you are ready for an active reading, as you have built up an expectation and an inquisitive state of mind. It's like watering the ground before you plant the seeds. Next, let's talk about notes. Notes are all about the active understanding of the content. When you make notes, you are either impressed by a specific thought, plan to tweet it out in a certain context, or want to send it to a friend who may benefit from it. You can take notes before, during, and after the process, whatever feels comfortable. But if you do it in the process of studying and need the information for an exam, it's better to force your memory to retrieve the information after you have read a chapter or a book. This sequencing allows your memory to reinforce the connections and to move the knowledge from a short-term to long-term memory. Next, you've got to be selective about what to read and what to quit. Memory has limited space. It's a muscle that needs to be trained, true, but it still has a limited capacity. You can't remember all books you have ever read in the finest detail. So it's best to estimate your expectations before you even start. Is it a light read that you need to take off your mind before going to bed? Then there is nothing wrong in just swallowing it without ever giving it a second thought. Is it an autobiography of a legendary figure whose quotes are often used by your peers? You may need to prioritize this one a bit more. Take notes, build its mind map to plant it deeply in your memory. Did you find out that a recommended novel turned out to be way too technical and boring for you? Quitting is an option. With millions of books out there, there is no harm in saving your scarce time for the more rewarding literature. Another way you can embed the facts you read about in your memory for longer is by picturing them. Not only do you train your imagination, but you also apply another layer to your memory, a visual one. Some people will remember what they see best, some need to hear, others need to articulate thoughts to memorize them. Whichever type of learner you may be, adding any of those layers to your three-dimensional memory will reinforce its strength. The next step is share what you are learning. Okay, this is where you can go wild. The wilder you get, the more chances that you will remember things better. Here are a few crazy ideas for you to pick and build on from. For instance, retell a book to a 3-year-old. We mentioned they are pretty wild. By retelling a chapter or a book to a 3-year-old, you will try to get straight to the point using the simplest of terms. It's like making a sauce out of 20 ingredients, herbs, and spices that keeps evaporating till you have all their flavor in 1 liter jar. All nonsense out. You leave just what truly matters. Or sell it in an elevator speech manner. You can also try retelling it from the standpoint of an author who met a publisher in an elevator. In this case, you will try to review its commercial value, define the audience, as well as spill the beans about the twists and turns of the plot. By walking in the shoes of an author of a yet unpublished book, you truly get to see what value it brought to you as a reader and how it can bring change into your life. Finally, be the movie director. This one is the most time-consuming, but it brings the highest level of engagement and elevated emotion, which works as a perfect catalyst for your memory efficiency. Try to imagine in your mind's eye what kind of movie you would make out of this book. Cast yourself the main character. Let's go, Leo. Why not? Pick a location. Adjust the plot line as you picture it. What would you like your audience to leave the cinemas with? What ideas should they carry into their lives after watching your movie? These 3 methods of memorizing the contents of a book are just some of the ideas that help run any major thought through your mind, creating a strong network of facts. Meanwhile, tell us in the comments what wild methods you employ to memorize the contents of books more easily. And we are moving on. The most pro technique on how to remember a book is to write a review. You may use an app for the purpose or let your feedback known on an official website or Amazon. Even if you prefer to do it privately, just for you, you can mix and match answering these questions. What is it about? What's the theme of the book? Who is the main character? Why do you like or dislike him or her? What's the main idea of the book? Is there a message that's hiding between the lines? What are the 3 main conclusions you arrived at by reading it? Has any situation in the book reminded you of your personal struggles or achievements? Has it echoed your close person's path? Who is this book for? Who would you recommend reading it? What are the 3 top quotes that you took the time to jot down? How has it impacted your worldview, ideas? Has it planted any food for thought in your brain? These are just few hacks to remember things you read. Even if you skim through this sheet on how to hack your memory, you know that you can't remember it all, but you train your brain to memorize more and more every time. Be selective about what ends up in your bedroom, on a bedside table, I mean. Build the carcass for the memory by reading the contents and forward. Take notes and highlight quotes as you turn over the pages. Imagine the pictures from the book in your mind's eye to strengthen the mental image. Share it with your book club, friends, and family. Write a review, as formal or informal as you please. Make the learnings from the book part of your life. I hope these effective reading techniques help you take your life to a new level, where 10 pages convert into interesting conversations and useful connections. If you have any questions about anything we've covered in this video, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.